PVC, Director of Ceremonies. Thank you very much. Allow me, I cannot write on the protocol, I will have to observe. Allow me to acknowledge the Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs and Administration for the University of Zimbabwe, Professor Atwell Mamvuto. The Vice Chancellor Infrastructure Development and Digitalization, Professor Hudson Mapulia. The Executive Director, Research, Innovation and Industrialization, Professor Florence Mutamanele. The Executive Director, Quality Assurance and Professional Development, Professor Emmanuel Chabata. In absentia, we have our Registrar, Dr. Myaradzi Madambi, our Librarian, Dr. Agnes Chikonzo, our BESA, Mr. Precious Chitambara. And allow me to acknowledge the host, our Director, Center for Post-Secondary Studies, Professor Francis Wachingura, the University of Zimbabwe Deans of Faculties here present, Directors of Institute who are here present. I also want to acknowledge the chairpersons of departments, the supervisors that are here with us. But allow me to also acknowledge the very reason why we are here, our postgraduate students, our higher degree students. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our partners. This is the platform, this is the constituency where we expect most of our partners to join us. And by this, I'm making an invitation by way of record to invite our various partners from industry, from business, entrepreneurs, communities, civic organizations, research institutions, policymakers, which means government and other public institutions, so that we develop together a culture of coming together at this level. This is the level that defines the university. And this is the reason why we are here as full executive, particularly the academic executives. Initially, I said we would be executive, but circumstances changed favorably so that we will be here in full force. So I want to acknowledge the BRTI, Biomedical Research and Training Institute, my former institute, and the Central Procurement Consultants. I also want to acknowledge the Marketers Association of Zimbabwe. And I want to make a special mention of our entertainers, the University of Zimbabwe Ensemble. You can call it the choir, you can call it an ensemble, but these are our entertainers, and they are making a mark, and we want to recognize them. They are doing what they do. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be talking to you about the reason why we are here. The director gave us the objectives of why we are here. But today I want to have a double cap. The Vice Chancellor is your leader academic in the institution, statutorily and practically. And for that reason, I'm also a researcher as an international researcher. So I want to use that to be able to address you, to talk to the issues that are relevant for you as supervisors on the one hand, and then the postgraduate students, higher degree postgraduate students on the other. It is therefore my singular honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this workshop, the Science Higher Degrees Education 5.7 Training Workshop. The Science Cluster Workshop comes at the time when the discourse in the country is on science, technology, and innovation towards the achievement of our Vision 2030. A number of people are grappling with the role that science can play in the production of goods and services in accordance with our heritage-based Education 5.0 philosophy and the agenda of the nation to industrialize and modernize so that we become an upper middle income economy by 2030. This has been confirmed by the increased number of our postgraduate or higher degree students that we are hosting today. I will not stick to the speech. This suffices. I will probably just a piece. As Univest, you know that we have undertaken a very deep transformation. The reason for transforming is to put away the wrong manual. That's what we are putting away. What we have suffered in a long time is the use of that wrong manual. This is a manual that was tailored for us during colonial period. Colonialism is an objective, that's fine. So we're not talking politics about colonialism here, but we're talking about the realities of the vices, the architecture of colonialism. It was supposed to make you follow. You follow to the letter. I used to joke and say, I don't want to mention countries, but Zimbabwe and the 3 other countries I know in Africa, they developed to be perfect colonies. You cannot say anything against what they've been taught. They will die with you, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? They were perfect colonies. So you cannot tell them that you can think different. But everything is in the architecture, is in the design. Design thinking is what I do. So when I look at people, if you're coming from medicine, you say, I do agriculture. That's what you think when you see it. Environment. Yes, I have learned the science that you have learned. But most importantly, it's the design thinking. Do what you do and do it best. I do what I do and do it best. It's about that thinking. That's what brings us together. When you are doing science, you compartmentalize yourselves and say, I am in medical sciences, I am in engineering, I am in chemistry, I am in... But when you do when you are learning, you will see that they are not different. It's a continuum. What you do with the science is what's different. You treat people if you are in medicine and use the science. You make these tiles for chemistry and your science. You create new genes. Molecular engineering, if you understand. But you're using the same science, the basics, the biology, the physics, the chemistry. In fact, there's no physics, there's no chemistry towards physical science. You understand? So you can stand on your own and beat your chest. It's good for your esteem. But you are scientists. When you are really learned, you become all. You embrace multidisciplinarity. You embrace diversity. What rules is the thinking. And it's the architecture. So the colonialists, what they did is to be able to build an architecture of a railway system. You know, a railway line. When you have a training there, it doesn't go anywhere else except to follow that line. That's what our education was like. You follow that line. So as long as the architect is there, they will watch and say, are they following the line? If you are following the line, why one? They are following the line. So you don't go anywhere. They only get worried when you break off and get out of the rail. This is exactly what the University of Zimbabwe has done. through the heritage-based education frequency. We broke the rail, out of the rails. And that's what worries people if they are not for you. And it pleases people if they are for you. That's the meaning of transformation. Academic transformation. It's radical, it's deliberate, it's futuristic, it's innovative. Radical, deliberate, futuristic, innovative. The deliberate part is important. It should be purposed. We purpose knowledge. We are all practitioners here. If you want to do good, you can do good. If you want to do bad with the same tools, you can do bad. You become what you want to be. If you want this university to be great, it will be great. If you want this university to be marara, are we clear? So as higher degree students, if you want to be great, you will be great. If you want your family to be great, it will be great. It's like a prayer. If you want this family called University of Zimbabwe, the family called your family, the family called Zimbabwe, to be a poor family, they will be poor. That's the meaning of transformation of education. That's the meaning of higher education. So, we changed programs. It was not comfortable for many of you because you were in the rails. So it was difficult. But I think it's beautiful. We then also changed the architecture of conducting research. That's why you are here in these numbers. Okay. So, we changed the architecture of conducting research. We said, let's form our research groups. Each faculty should have research groups that prioritize what we want to be as a country, as a university, as a globe. How do we situate ourselves in this global scheme of things as a university? All universities are the same. They differ in how they apply themselves. They differ in the amount of knowledge they generate. They differ in the architecture of their development. So with the research groups, it means we lead particular priority areas for relevance, for generation of solutions. And our solutions are the goods and services that we produce. So when I look at those research groups, these are the broad areas in which you build your specializations. These are the areas in which you build your expertise. Remember, the expert and the specialist are two different. The specialist is then your passion, where what you want to specialize in, what you want to concentrate on. You may not necessarily be an expert in that area, but you're a specialist in that area. Am I clear, ladies and gentlemen? Am I clear? Right. When you are an expert, it means you have the level of knowledge and skill that delivers more solutions, more answers, more relevance. This is why you publish. if you haven't published a paper to say you can contest an area and say I'm a biotechnologist, people say, let's see what you have produced in biotechnology. If you have none, then you are probably a specialist, you are specializing in biotechnology, but you can't be an expert yet. Am I clear? But if you are publishing, you're putting on the platform where everybody can see and say, I advanced this in biotechnology. I authored this in biotechnology. We influenced this in biotechnology. So people say you are a biotechnology expert. You have a result and an impact. So what we have in our students, they specialize and then later become experts. Supervisors, do you follow? Supervisors, they supervise so many students in this particular area I picked, biotechnology. They are experts then of biotechnology. If they are not qualified to supervise. Am I clear? That's the decision. That's why deans have to find out and say who has the expertise to supervise this idea. I leave it there. That's the focus of having research groups. I asked the deans in every faculty to say, what are your flagship programs? Things that you say you are made of, that you are known for. Such that in Africa, globally, if people talk about good structural engineers, they should be able to point at the University of Stanford. If it is our flagship. If it's fisheries, they will point at the University of Stanford. If it is our flagship. If it's surgery, the same. You become the reference point for your flagship programs. We can only build that through yourselves. Higher degree. So I use that to emphasize the importance of higher degrees. So we then built as a university a research, innovation, and industrialization ecosystem. This ecosystem then connects the university's business to industry, to businesses or commercial, to communities. The role of the university is to create opportunities for people to industrialize, opportunities for people to do business, opportunities for communities to uplift themselves, opportunities for the young ones to grow into new professions. If the university doesn't produce or create opportunities, it's not playing its role. That's why we host the cream of the youth in terms of intellectual. So we don't bring them here to destroy their minds, no. They should see more and more opportunities. That's what we are here to do. But how do you create those opportunities? Through research. That takes me to the next point. Our ability to organize our research process, innovation process, commercialization or industrialization process gives the measure of quality of the university. Because it informs our teaching and learning. If you have not generated a figure, how do you teach students? Not design. Medical doctor. Maunzwa kuti avanti doctor asati vamurapa munhu. Atoda kuti vakudzidzise kuti expert yokurapa. Tukadaida ndofunga hapana unomira pamwe. You understand? The engineer, but you know he's a good engineer, renowned. Renowned, the word renowned. Banana 200. Banana Zachi. Am I clear? Right. So that's where the importance of time is. We are starting to focus on this research, innovation, industrialization, and ecosystem. It embodies your teaching and learning and so on. All the things you want to talk about, they're in that ecosystem. The linkages to partners is in that ecosystem. So what we are trying to say now, we want this ecosystem to deliver, to be productive. And you cannot do it without yourselves. You are key pillars of that ecosystem. So the ecosystem is the one that delivers the goods and services we want as a university. So when we started, we are modeling a lot of things. We came from the transformation itself of the programs, the setting up of the research, innovation, industrialization ecosystem pillars, and then the rewarding of performance. That's why your lecture has got performance-based rewards. Just recently, I saw in the newspaper club, which was the Daily News, it says, you've seen the university what bosses in the allowance store. Then I said, okay, maybe the store is in Daily News. But the idea is to say, how do we reward people who are dedicated and committed to do? I addressed the chairpersons. What are the chairpersons here? I addressed the chairpersons here, and we agreed that I think we should look at how the chairpersons are people who are committed to running your systems. And they were running it, the investors were not paying anything, same salary with what government was paying. Government is for us all, they pay everybody the same. But as an institution, we should be able to recognize extra effort. So when we look up a dean, we look up a technician, we look who do special things, we should recognize them in the reward. I promised chairpersons, I did exactly that. It's just the beginning, we are starting the model. There should be a difference from being a dean at the University of Zimbabwe and being a dean at the University X. So, because that's what gives us a competitive advantage. That's what shows that Mwana Kudzidza at a PhD at the University of Zimbabwe. A professor, that's why we're coming. This was one of the first of the phases. We recognize the managers first. That's not, I have no apologies for that. We will come now to the supervisors. Mumona supervisor, my PhD 5. I want to develop critical skills. Mumone 0. This one will have Nemaria Kafanana, what university? You know the law of limiting factors. The law of limiting factors, it speaks also to the rate determining step. The lowest rate is what determines the overall, right? The limiting factors is like a curve. The lowest point is where you get your leakage, right? So you can't fill up that bucket. So people who work on that principle will always say, you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. We have students now, we have won in these competitions and so on. The university should not just turn in blind eye. We should be able to recognize they are good karateka, they are good chess players, they are good volleyball players, they are good basketball players. We should be able to celebrate success. That's a investor. So the capacity, you can quote me if you like, your capacity to self-organize and self-mobilize is what makes the difference between you and the next person. To tell yourself that you should now get up. To tell yourself that it's now time to organize you, let's do this. That's what makes the difference. Zimbabweans have excelled each place I've gone and traveled so much. Why? Because they go into a system that's organized, and they are, remember I said the perfect colony. If they are told to batter the paper, I will not batter. Right? But what we are trying to teach them is my next point. The role and value of research. Research is at the center of everything. We can talk innovation, we can talk technology, we can talk. It's about research. Research is about advancing new knowledge. It's about creating new knowledge. That new knowledge can be a technology. That new knowledge can be a way of doing things, tools. Right? It can be about approaches. Approaches are about even your services that you talk about. These are models for doing things, designs. It's new knowledge. That's what research does. The only difference between us and all those other advanced countries, they are advanced in knowledge. This is the reason why the country, through the able leadership of our President Chancellor, President Mugabe, they said we want to be a knowledge-based economy, a knowledge-driven economy, innovation-led economy. You can't innovate if you don't have knowledge. Is that okay, ladies and gentlemen? I'm talking to the high degree students. So, we have refused, I'm one of those that you register as refusing that, to say there is something known as a taught PhD. If I had it my way, I would say what nonsense. To sit this gentleman here, this lady here, and tell them the way I'm doing, and then some guy PhD. Kuita ma specialist of terera kuti makagara kudaro ngokuti mangena wakutosumuka ipapo watwane PhD. There's no such PhD inoitwa aiterero. You do a PhD. Am I clear? That's why you don't get the goods and services. How do you produce a good worker model? To the extent that you know how it is the relationship with the West and our former colonizers and so professor, that is a professor very complete. But one of them got for passing. No chapo graduate, I don't match them. Are we clear? And they can come, they can say I was in whatever country. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, we have to have the independence to think. Research is not just research, it's thinking. What we are teaching you, ladies and gentlemen, is not what you call researching just as a word. It's teaching you how to think. You can't generate a new solution when you are not thinking. A new good, a new service if you are not thinking. The role of the university, this is a place of thinking. We are teaching you how to think and the application of that thinking to help people. Am I clear in that message? So ask yourself, if you have not, do you know that thinking is very energy consuming? Right? And those are going to work out that energy consuming. Sure. Are we clear? You might combine that with the watch hands and this and that. The body will react the way it reacts, the physiology of the person will change. But it's energy consuming. And in ecology, we say the least energy consuming route is what the body prefers. Kana ukasachenjera inoprefer kuvata. When it can save energy, do nothing. Right? So you have to be trained, you have to be mentally prepared to think. If you're not thinking hard, you're at the wrong place. Thinking is not easy, it's painful. So the education we are bringing as in heritage-based education 5.0 is to say, can we be resourceful upon what we have? Can we be able to see value in things that would appear ordinary? That can only be done by a degree student. Your role is to think and do the unimaginable. It's a place for crazy people in the positive way. You never thought you would speak to this and the sound would go. When you have a cell phone, when they were starting, it would be like magic to say I'm talking to someone in America. But the only thing that gives you limitless possibilities is thinking. It gives you technologies that will open new possibilities. So unlimited possibilities are at the university. And who is the university? It's a higher degree. When a person has a PhD, it should say something about the person. Invariably, it doesn't matter PhD in what, it doesn't, never mind, I said, if you are not yet learning to say this is in English, this is in what, once it's a PhD, it's a PhD. That's why it's never quite defined. The way you think is the philosophy, is the thinking. In the academic, in the high scholarship end, they say, where is the philosophy when they are asking about PhDs? That's why you do theoretical frameworks, conceptual framework, the conceptualization, the design. You are designers of solutions. So if your thesis, that's why it's called a thesis, if it doesn't give you a new edge, you know the edge of a knife, the one that cuts, or if an X or whatever, the one that cuts, that's the cutting edge of our knowledge. So your brains give us, as a nation, the cutting edge. That's why people say cutting edge research. They mean advancing new frontiers. That's where it comes from. So you advance because you are cutting, you have a sharp edge in knowledge. So my higher degree students, not being blasphemous in scholarship. Do you understand? They are the people who are now creative enough to generate possibilities. What is the role of the supervisor? The role of the supervisor is to guide that process of thinking, to encourage that process of thinking, to nurture that process of thinking. The role of the supervisor is not to produce, no, it's to lead and carve in what to nurture that thinking until we realize value. And it's no mean feat. It's designing the designer. You understand what I'm saying? So your relationship with the supervisor, there's no conflict at all. That would be bad attitude. Kana wogona unofanira waziva kuti supervisor ndovakuita kuti ugone. Vanogona kuita nokukutuka ukaita shumu ukaita ndiri kuvaona, but kusada kuvaona kwako ikoko ndokwatoita kuti vani right. Hati munhu anokupa shumba right vakufanira munhu anokudadira right. Are we clear? Right. So the relationship should not at any one point there should be a conflict. Papers, supervisors. When we write, you can watch mine. When we write, at the beginning, I'm writing myself as first author. I'm not yet strong supervisor. Maybe I'm supervising, but I'm still building myself. Do you understand? So you become first author most of those papers until a certain time. Then you are pushed to the side because I'm teaching here, I'm teaching him. They become first authors. I want to see them grow. Even in the they become the first author. Are we clear? I can correspond on their behalf if they are not yet right. If they are right, they can still correspond. When we now engineer, we are now the chief architects, my name will be at the end. If you see my name at the end, it means I'm the chief architect and the principal investigator of that process. I'm no longer competing with you for that place. The moment people see my name there, they know that, okay, it's part of the team that made this process. So there's no competition. Are we clear? If you have other junior lecturers who are upcoming postdocs and so on, they can come all the way in between. Tinotungamidza mwana wedu waita as in our student. Remember, mwana wedu nyangwe ari makore mazhinji. That's how it works. Are we clear? So there's never competition. I may have taken your time, but it was meant to be. I wanted to take this time. So, supervisors, you create targets. You are more visionary. That's what you are. You are more visionary. You are seeing what he or she doesn't see. But you want him or her to actualize that. Don't try to grab it out of here or him. You know what used to happen when we were writing together with people from advanced countries. Vakaona kuti paita gem of an idea. Vanotumira munhu pano unoswera vaiswera 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months. Achikubvunza chete. Kusvika vatepa idea. Kana monyora ivo vanokurumidza kupublisha kuti uzoti but idea yangu haishandi. Intellectual property. Do you understand what I'm saying? Kana vachida vanobva vakuacknowledge tusaita hauchazotauri futi idea yako yacho iyo intellectual piracy. So role of supervisors is to protect these tender people. Tell your students when to review and when not to review. Students, listen to your supervisor. Hakuna kufunga kuti vakutondiratidza vakudakuita zvavo sei handiki vaona kuti ndiri kugona. Aiwa, say they not be jealous about you, iwewe vachikudzidzisa. You understand what I'm saying? Are we clear about that attitude? Be guided. I crafted lots of projects. And what people do is, vakaona kuti this is a gem of an idea. Anotora vopamwana vopamwa. You understand what I'm saying? Votichita topic. Votora zviya zviri kupereserawo. Votora wedu votichita here. Do you get those tips, supervisors, deans? So in your research groups, that's why we want to import. Deans should safeguard the knowledge that comes out of the research groups to protect these tender people. They're still generating ideas. So please help them. That's how you protect them. Then walk them through to the realization of the good ideas that they have. It could be a raw idea, but your role is to say this graph actually is telling us what the student may never have realized because you have experience, and allow them to process. So that's about supervision, that's about students. But at the end of it all, for me to conclude my address, we are no longer training people that are asking, kuti ameno degree learning is kuti kana rapera ameno chiteze tichinda kupi. If I had it my way, I didn't start to register. Why? Deans, chairpersons of departments, supervisors, and our esteemed students, we train so that you acquire knowledge and the thinking to generate new knowledge and the skill to do. The skill to do with your own hands, your own brain, your own feet, your own whatever. Are we clear? So that when our students, even the undergraduate, all these postgraduates should be able to supervise and train the projects of your undergraduate. Because that's how you sharpen yourselves. In fact, you should do that voluntarily. Do you understand? Look at the topics under your research that the undergraduates can do. That's what we call understudying. Are we clear? That the masters by coursework, remember by coursework, not taught. Deans, please, I'm not taught masters. The masters by coursework. Am I clear? So, they understand you are like members of staff. You produce value. In universities that I've moved across in, they're supposed to be in the same staff room as your professors. Can only hire the students. Are we clear? Because they are of value. Consider those interactions. Yes, there are certain interactions where you will be excluded for conflict of interest. But I think you should be seen as high value scholars and make yourselves those. It's not about activism. To take out the you will be invited. Right? So, the skills that we want is to say, student, can I get a degree? I don't know what can I get a degree? What am I capable of doing? What is that I can do? If they present themselves to you, Dr. Maida, you ask them, globally, what can you do? Then they say, I'm good at analytical chemistry. I can analyze things for you in the lab. I'm good at doing ABC. I can construct graphs. I can synthesize data. I can create databases. They should tell us what they can do. I want to move this university to a point where ChatGPT, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence should not be feared. You know, when we started this course, calculator now. You understand? Calculator was in the enemy. You understand what I'm saying? But what is that? In the calculator, am I clear? So, Pinda is no particular kingdom. No particular, wherever the back was, Pin them with exam. Just decide how to set such an exam. I create the problem, cheating, if I ever really happy, I know I think of course. But ukauya nazvo tichakubvunza. Handizviti haya degree unoona nethesis yako ndizvo unoona nethesis yako woiwaridza kana uchida kuudza vanhu kuti vhurai papage 7 kana uchida kuti vhurai papage 59 asi tinokubvunza kusvika ndaona ndokoniwa. Am I clear about this approach? This is where the University of Zimbabwe should go. No worries about technology. Technology, we should embrace technology, but we should be able to still assess performance. Reason why I don't want a lecturer unopedza 12 years that's one of the directors. Achita PhD. Unondidzidzisa sei ndiri mwana wechikoro. Iye une 12 achikona kuita izvozvo. Unondidzidzisa kuita G15. Sorry, you're not lecturer, it's 59. I know you are not but so the rule is when we say a student is timed out, deans listen carefully. Because I don't want to see a case that's presented before me. We decide when we make the policy and regulation. The rest is to follow. We consult at that time. When consultation is finished, done. What we mean by timing out, it means that your research, if you started researching, unenge uchiri kushandisa floppy computer moza kama wana mafloppy ndizvo saka unenge uchita research yako yefloppy yakanoka kupera saka ukauya pana vari kuita research yemaflash disk vanotudi vati hafloppy renyu chingochengetai mufoni ndo zvinoitwa kuti uite timed out hakusi kukuvenga. Am I clear? The knowledge you are generating is no longer relevant. It is Professor. Saka haikona kubata mapepa pakadai uchiuya nawo. Kona ikuudza munhu iyeye mutarise umudze kuti yako yapera. Ndazvitanga kwapese mutidzo. Kana usingati kuti ipere kumidzi. Am I clear? My student mazvizvona. Ndizvo. Ita research yako vamwe vachiita. Ichiri relevant. Ichadiwa kuindustry. Andi kwete kuti namakambani unoitira akavhara. Kuti unoda kuti asi ndipe PhD, ndokupa PhD kudina. That's another importance of time. But you understand? Do your things on time. Publication msatela wapate tauro tu mapepa unoja mapepa bla 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 tauro kote chitazo paper republisha ndo unotenda ndakuza ine zve expertise ati unotori publisha paper ndora unokoniveta into ekuti ndora unokoniveta your model yawa developer ikapublishika, which means other people have reviewed and okayed it. It's like a certification system. It's like an accreditation system. Are we clear? That's what defines scholarship. You have to publish it. Once you are able to do that, you can say you have something in the bank. Even if you want to say, please invest in the new method for making a microphone. But I don't method yacho yakanyorwa pai. Umwe handinayo mumusoro. Are we clear? That's not investing. You publish. You have to be focused. Supervisors, you help students to be focused. The first thing is publication is your literature review. Your guide. Are we clear? There is no substitute for it. So with that address, I want to upload the Center for Postgraduate Studies and the 6 faculties: science, computer engineering, informatics and communications, veterinary science, agriculture, environment, food systems, engineering, built environment, medicine and health sciences, for creating this opportunity where both supervisors and supervisees engage to reach a common understanding when it comes to research that produces goods and services. Workshops like this help both parties as well as the broader university community to appreciate the processes, purpose, responsibilities, supervisor competence, and mentorship abilities that have a bearing on creating a new generation of experts, a new generation of specialists, a new generation of skilled human capital of the nation. People should be putting their papers on our tables to say, anopeza hii. Are we clear? It should not be possible that a higher degree graduate fails to engage into meaningful employment. Do you get my idea of engaging in meaningful employment? And I want you to be employed in a family. Are we clear? Because before you even finish to support our startups, the cycle is that when you have a gem of an idea, that's why she's there. She was a former in PVC. She'll be there in a strong space of research, innovation, and industrialization. To be able to pick some of the gems of the ideas you have to the innovation hub. Think about forming companies now on the basis of what you are doing. If you are doing something else, you are studying this, but you want to form a company in this, it means there's some misalignment somewhere. That was our time. Your time is to do things that you believe in. Are we clear? So, hope to hear more of the products, throwing most of your research in the innovation hub, supporting you. We have a government that for the first time, actually, very few governments in Africa do that. Those who had the architecture of the good manual, they were already doing that. As we only have this correct manual now, you should be able to build your businesses, to build your entrepreneurial outfits from the research you are conducting. If you are providing a service, it's a unique service that you should make money out of. So combine your learning with the creation of wealth so that you contribute to the development of the economy. Innovation is about research that matters or thinking that matters. And what matters is an economic value. Okay.